30 years on the air on WROI is the first federal program. Hosts may have changed, but the program is still the same. Now continuing a long-standing tradition, streaming on the First Federal Facebook page and on WROI. It's time for the First Federal program.
And good Friday morning to you, December the 20th, as we're joined here this morning once again by Tanner and Todd. And well, before we get to First Federal Savings Bank, just a quick reminder, Eastern Pulaski and Caston are on a 2-hour delay. Culver has closed and on a virtual learning day. And Rochester Community Schools, their buses are running about 25 minutes behind the schedule. So just a quick update there as we welcome Todd and Tanner. And attaboy, Todd, I appreciate the old red today.
Yeah, for those on the radio that can't see, I've got my red IU shirt on, my red IU hat on. I'm sorry, Tanner.
No, I do not.
Tanner, I'm disappointed, Tanner. I mean, now I don't know which way to go here because you do have Notre Dame blue on.
Yes.
But you don't have, it doesn't say Notre Dame. It's First Federal.
It will never say Notre Dame.
but you're wearing you're wearing the blue today, so I don't know which way are you leaning.
Well, I was hoping it was going to be Denver Bronco blue this morning. But after last night's game, I can't even say that. So, yeah, this is a Purdue fan's nightmare. We'll try to slice and dice it any other way, but if I have to pull for somebody, if I absolutely have to, it'd be Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
I think it's last night I looked, at least last night, I haven't looked this morning, but it was 7.5. Is it still?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
Maybe about 6.5, 7.5.
Yeah, it's been fluctuating back and forth, but
Close one.
Colin Cowher yesterday says he thinks Notre Dame will win it, but they won't cover the spread.
Oh, there you go.
So,
Heard on the herd.
yep, the herd said
So we'll see you later today. We've got a beautiful snowy morning this morning.
It's going to be interesting because they're still calling for some snow tonight up there. 22 degrees down too, so it doesn't start till 8 o'clock. So
And the tailgate lots open at 8 a.m. this morning. It's going to be
they'll
interesting.
be in there plowing them right now, probably getting ready.
Could be a rowdy crowd, you're saying.
That's a long time for tailgating.
Yeah, it is.
They don't even do that
In any weather, let alone.
Yeah.
Well, I will say the it's usually on a Saturday, but when Notre Dame, I've been into Notre Dame before, and when they have a night game on a Saturday, the tailgates are long, and so they're kind of used to it. Now, you're IU fan, like you said, now, but 31 was busy last night with a lot of red.
I think it'll be busy today
and
too.
coming up north. So.
Well, the year's winding down. This will be our last show of 2024. I want to thank the Giant FM and our listeners and guests for celebrating a great 30th anniversary.
It's been a great
Been
year.
a lot of fun.
We've had a lot of great guests. If you have a favorite show you want to go back and listen to, go to our YouTube channel. You can find any show on there. We thank our guests and we thank WROI for our 30th year.
It's been a
We've had
privilege.
great guests, and that's what their contributions make Fulton County a great place to live and work.
It's always great hearing the stories from the guests coming in, and some you kind of know a little bit about, but usually even if you knew of the organization or the group you talked to, you learn more, and then you learn some that nobody knew about.
Kind of
So.
some hidden gems.
Yeah.
I like to say.
Speaking of hidden gems, we got a great family member guest today.
Yes.
Our mortgage loan originator. We're looking forward to talking to Stacey. In fact, you can come on in and just join us in the conversation if you want.
Okay.
How was your drive in this morning?
Well, to be unnamed, I'll tell you that I got behind what I believe was a first-time driver, a neighbor of mine. I'm going to probably be talking to them later and make sure it was them.
But you made it safe and sound.
Yes.
And they made it safe and sound.
Yes.
Yes, that's all that's important.
We're looking at some Christmas song trivia today.
Oh, mercy.
And Stacey, you're welcome to play on this.
This
It's
could
going to be a two-part question.
Uh-oh.
Tanner didn't know this. So,
I did not.
but you'll know the answer. So what is the best-selling Christmas song of all time?
Okay.
You can answer that question now.
No choices?
No choices.
Oh.
You get choices.
Is
for
it White Christmas?
I was going to say.
Dreaming of a White Christmas?
No.
Really? That would have been my guess.
I would think it's probably like a Mariah Carey one.
Bingo. Good. Stacey.
Woo-hoo.
That's what our Christmas question's about.
Is it?
today.
All I Want for Christmas
Is you, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That has sold over 16 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
It's the best-selling digital song of all time. I think that's where it probably got.
Yeah,
to be
that's
number
where it
one.
got to be.
It's the digital
Yeah.
downloads. So, Here's the real trivia question.
Okay, the real trivia.
In what year did Mariah Carey release All I Want for Christmas Is You? 1990, 1992, 1994, 1996. You can answer this at the end of the show.
Oh,
it's
the
near
90s.
it's near Randy and I's era.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's closer to. Yeah, that's a little closer at least.
Test your memory.
Better than
I'm
last
gonna
week's.
say 96.
We'll
We can
see.
get to that to the end of the show.
Yeah.
That's
I
one of
gotta
the
think about
answers.
that one.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was a newer song than that when I was doing the research.
So did I,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
It took
No,
25 years to reach #1.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just because it kind of
Yeah,
took off.
social
It seems
media
like
and-
the last decade or so.
So it's nice
Interesting. I gotta think on that.
to have a Christmas song tribute.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll lead right into sports. That kind of segues together.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot about the college football playoff game tonight. But that game, once again, IU at Notre Dame's 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN/ABC.
Yeah.
So you can watch on either channel.
By the way, they said the lots were already,
Full.
there were people,
Filling
lined
up.
Fill
to
up.
tailgate.
I believe it.
Then surprise.
Those hardy IU fans, they know how to party.
So it'll be
There's
interesting.
some interesting ones tomorrow too.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a good slate of games
Yeah.
tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great sports
Yeah.
day if you don't have any last minute Christmas shopping or anything to go out
Or
and
if the
do.
wife needs to go last minute Christmas
Or that
shopping,
too,
you
yeah.
can enjoy
I mean,
football. Yeah.
there's college football, 3 playoff games tomorrow, SMU, Penn State, Texas, Clemson, and Ohio State, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Then you got 2 NFL games on tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then some good college basketball on tomorrow
Yeah.
too. So, and then of course high school basketball. So,
He doesn't
all
have
the
a tough
sports,
basketball game tomorrow.
Yeah.
yeah, only against number 2 Auburn. So.
They played #2 a couple weeks ago, didn't they? Alabama.
Alabama in November, yeah, and they played number 17 Texas A&M last week, so
Good preseason
Going through a gauntlet.
for the Big Ten. Yeah.
IU hosts Chattanooga tomorrow.
course.
But Chattanooga is 8-4.
Yeah.
That's at noon on Big Ten Network.
That's why you'll see Purdue do better in the Big Ten than I
Oh, it's a long season, we'll see. But Purdue does play Auburn tomorrow at 4:30 on ESPN. That game's a neutral game, played at Birmingham, Alabama.
do. Oh,
So
okay.
they'll play next year in Indianapolis. It's a double.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a neutral.
Auburn's not that far from Birmingham.
No, exactly. That's why I said neutral in quotation
Right,
marks.
right,
It'll
right.
be a away game pretty much. And Butler's got a big one tomorrow. They're on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
They host Connecticut, the back-to-back defending national champions. That's at noon on Peacock. And
Tough loss for
then
Xavier.
Notre Dame hosts a team I've never heard of on Sunday, Lemoyne.
Lemoyne.
They didn't even Division 1.
I don't know. They're 5-8. That's
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock on the ACC network on Sunday.
Okay.
So I had never heard
Interesting.
of them.
No, I have not either.
So I can't even tell you what their nickname is. I didn't do that much research. I probably should have. So, but a lot of high school sports going on
Yeah.
tonight and tomorrow.
Tonight the Zebras open up TRC for the first TRC game with Northwestern. So it'll be an interesting. Zebras haven't played Northwestern in boys basketball in about 20 years. So now that Northwestern's in the conference, we'll get that started back up. It's gonna be a battle. Northwestern wants to slow it down a little bit. The Zebras they want to
Push
get
the
out
tempo a
go.
little
So
bit.
it could be an interesting
Yeah.
game tonight. So 7:25 for the Rochester Ford pregame. That's a 6:15 JV start.
Now they opened up TRC play on Saturday, correct, against Wabash last week.
That was the girls.
Girls.
Girls had
girls.
it back last week. Yeah, this
that's
is the
right,
first
that's
TRC
right.
for the guys.
Yes.
So,
yes. Okay.
they'll
I
get started.
understood you there. Okay.
Lady Zebras got a win last night on the road to Northwestern, so a big win for them.
Might as well make it a sweep.
Yeah, see if we can welcome Northwestern to the TRC properly, right?
Let's also look at social media. There's a great accomplishment in the girls' game last night.
Yeah, Ella McCarter had a double-double and 19 points, 12 rebounds, and Jaden Field also had 12 rebounds. So the Zebras crashed the boards well last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing out pretty
Yeah.
well.
Makes a difference.
Oh, big time. In NFL, still going on. Most teams have 3 games left, unless you played last night, which I'm not going to get into that anymore
And,
because
and
we'll just
some
get
still
frustrated.
have just 3 games. That's literally
yeah, including the Bears.
yes, and the Colts and several others.
It's tough for local football fans here. Colts, Bears, Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bears.
NFL season just has not been well.
We're just trying to
You get that draft pick.
yeah, but not number 1, right?
There could be.
It's close.
Them or the Giants right
Yeah,
now, kind
yeah.
of back and forth.
You're a Raiders fan? I do remember that.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
married into that.
Okay.
23, 4 years.
If they're in Vegas now, it's probably fun. Have you been to see a game in Vegas?
We'd like them to start winning before we
Before
go
we
there.
go,
Yeah.
I don't know, it might be cheaper to go now.
True.
That's true.
That's true, maybe.
That's true.
Kind of like IU, it was cheaper to get tickets a couple of years ago. Now it's not going to be.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe just by a game that we know.
Yeah.
Got a good chance.
Yeah,
of
there
winning.
you go.
Like
Yeah.
the Broncos, maybe.
Hey, not this year. But yeah, the Bears host the Lions Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox. It was a good game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The Lions are 6.5 point favorites. Once again, that game Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox. And the Colts return home to host the Titans Sunday at 1 o'clock on CBS and right here on WROI.
Yeah. We'll have the Colts too.
And Colts are 3.5 point favorites in that one.
Oh.
So, got the tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1946, It's a Wonderful Life premiered in New York City.
Okay.
One of the best Christmas movies
Yeah,
I've
that's
ever
a
That
seen.
is the class. Yeah,
We
definitely.
always watch it every year.
On this day in 1966, the NBA awarded the city of Seattle with a professional basketball franchise and the Seattle Supersonics, who have then moved to Oklahoma City.
But they're coming back though, right?
They keep teasing it, so I'm waiting.
Expansion
Yeah,
team, right?
the rumor has it, it's been for years that Seattle's going to get an expansion and Vegas is going to get an expansion. And then they'll move one team from the west to the east, which would probably be Memphis, which would make sense. I don't know why Memphis is in the Western Conference anyways.
It's kind of like the Reds used to play in the
Right.
National League West for all
Right.
those years.
It's kind of head scratching there.
It's all head scratching anymore.
That's true.
Big Ten and have 18
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Big team.
Atlantic Coast Conference having California and Stanford in
Yeah.
it. On this day in 1974, The Godfather Part 2 was released.
Oh, wow.
Decent movie, definitely not as
Yeah.
good as the first. On this day in 1991, the NHL approved expansion teams, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators.
Now both have won NHL titles, I think, haven't. I know the Lightning.
The Lightning have won
Okay.
2, the Ottawa has not, I don't
Okay.
believe. And on this day in 1996, a horror film classic Scream was released. And now there's been 6 or 7.
I was going to say.
I think there's another one in the works.
They keep
So,
adding to
just
those.
printing money. And today is National Ugly Sweater Day.
So I have my IU shirt on. That doesn't count.
I wasn't touching
You
it.
threw that one in there.
Okay.
I wasn't
Purdue-
touching that.
Them Purdue fans, they know how to get that, don't they?
I didn't say a word.
No, but you lit up. If people were watching on YouTube, yeah, I caught that.
It's a Go Caroling Day. Games Day, as in board games. National Sangria Day.
And I hear they're celebrating that in South Bend
I
already.
believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. And National Underdog Day.
Ooh,
No.
ooh.
Yeah.
I
There
like
you go.
that.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'm all for IU.
Yeah, and their caroling could be the IU fight song. I mean, yeah, they didn't say what
I
group caroling.
tied together for you, Todd.
Got some flowers to mention this year. Want to thank everybody at the bank for a great year. All the family members have worked very hard to serve our customers, and we want to thank our customers also too for being loyal to us and allowing us to be your bank. Thank you for that. Flowers to WROI Giant FM for hosting the 30th year of the First Federal Radio Show.
Looking
Thank
for
you for that.
looking for another great 31st year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
By the way, this will be the last show of the year. We're not on the air next week. We'll come back January 3rd, right?
January 3rd with Kelly McCall. As
Yeah,
our
Kelly
special
McCall
guest.
from
So,
Elevate Studio.
yeah.
Get us all ready for the new
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
So money news. The Dow finished flat yesterday, basically. Gained 15 points at 42,300 approximately. Interesting thing about yesterday, it ended a 10-day losing streak, which was the longest losing streak in 50 years.
Wow.
So that's the negative side of that. The positive side, though, is sales of existing homes rose in November, notching the biggest year-over-year gain in more than 3 years, signaling a higher supply of homes for sale gave buyers more opportunities. Any thoughts on that? Stacey, our mortgage loan originator? More homes for sale is a good thing, right?
It is a good thing. There seems to kind of be this gap of pricing, this mid-pricing. So that's what I'm hearing. I know my parents are looking
Yeah.
to sell theirs and buy a different house.
So there's
with
the high end
houses.
and there's a low end. It's
Yeah,
like
there's
the
missing that middle,
family home, you know, for in the middle is just
that
not
median
too many of
price.
those, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we'll talk to Stacey a little bit more about mortgage lending in a few minutes. She's an expert on it, and if anybody has any questions, subject matter expert, come in and see Stacey or Ben Dalton. So, talking about the bank, we're open 8:30 to 5 today, 8:30 to noon on Saturday. On Christmas Eve, we'll close at noon, and New Year's Eve, we'll close at noon.
Okay.
We close on Christmas Day, of course, and New Year's Day, and we'll open the next day, the 26th and the 2nd, normal hours. So just remember, noon on Christmas Eve and noon on New Year's Eve. You can bank with us 24 hours, even if we're closed. So
That's right.
we've got that. Our ATMs are up and running. You can use the ATM network to figure out MoneyPass.
There you go.
MoneyPass to find out, especially if you're traveling over the holiday
Yep.
and need some cash. You will not receive a service charge for that. Plus our online banking and our mobile banking is always available 24/7. And you can pretty much do anything on there.
Yeah.
Open accounts, apply for mortgage loans, transfer money. So take advantage of those.
I definitely take advantage of the mobile app.
Yeah,
That's
it's
for sure.
nice.
We still have free gifts for anybody that opens a Simply Free checking account or business account. It's a mini air popper, and Tanner showed that on the air
Yeah,
last week.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great for the popcorn lover in your life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Especially as you're sent home over the
Yeah.
holidays here. So
Football tonight,
Yeah.
football tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe some Christmas movies
there you go.
thrown in there. Yeah.
So contact Ben Dalton or Stacey Wilson regarding mortgage loans. She'll be talking to us in a few minutes. Both of them are ready, available, and willing to help. See Zach Ruder for commercial loans. And of course, we've got Mark Blubaugh and Brian Bell for any financial services needs. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can look at any of your favorite shows from the last year. I was thinking about the guests we had, and I was going to try to mention some of them, but they're all great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We had a
I'll
lot of-
mention one because then you'll forget
Right.
the others.
Right. And there's been quite a few
Yeah,
this year.
there's been
So
some great ones.
yeah.
So we are the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender, and our NMLS number is 399927.
Now we're legal.
Got it
Now
all.
we can have the fun stuff.
Welcome, Stacey Wilson.
Hello.
We're
You
happy.
guys threw me off because Evan said he was supposed
Oh
to be
yeah, I
here
forgot
today.
about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't break that news to you. So
Right.
Get
so
me, I'm sorry.
I know that you're not asking me questions that I don't know.
See, we knew if you told you Todd was going to be here, you probably wouldn't show that.
we get along
Well,
great.
IU gear. I don't know.
So, see, that's why. See, but Evan might have had his IU gear on too, I'm sure.
I think he might actually go to the game.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, longtime First Federal family member. How long have you worked with the bank, Stacey?
Ironically, I started Friday the 13th,
Friday the 13th.
2000 and... Oh my gosh.
You're gonna make us do
Okay,
math.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
sure.
it's 2002.
I think
Yes,
you're right. I was gonna check your
2002.
Facebook.
That's how I have to remember because it was the year after I got married.
Okay.
Yes. So I
So,
got married
As
in
long as you remember
November.
what year you get married, you're okay.
I do, yeah.
20 plus years. That's an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, so last Friday was Friday the 13th. So that was an ironic coincidence too.
So you've done lots of things at the bank. Tell us
Yeah.
about your journey kind of at First Federal.
Yeah, so
How did you come in first? How did you apply?
Well, I went to Ball State and graduated there with a bachelor's in communication. And then first job I took, and that was with Sprint Communications. So that's when they had local phone service at that
so you're
time.
a mobile phone salesperson.
No, not mobile. That was your home phone.
Sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sprint. Local.
Landline. Your landline.
Landline at the
Thank
time.
you. You said
Yeah.
that. I just didn't listen very well.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I was there and for a couple of years, and then I would take payments from
Okay.
different states and then also sell phones to people, which is ironic. I'm making like payment arrangements, but then also selling phones to people.
To make more payments.
Home
Payment.
phones,
Yeah.
yeah, home phones. So then a job came open as a quality assurance manager in Oregon, Medford, Oregon, Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
So at the time I was single, well, I was dating my husband at the time, and I got the job. It was to open a call center there. Told my husband, hey, want to go to Oregon? Oh, yeah. And
I didn't know
we weren't engaged yet. So moved to Oregon.
That was the first test, right?
Right. And we knew that we wouldn't stay out there, but we were young enough at the time. We thought, well, let's do that. So went there for a year, opened up a call center, and then ironically, that same position opened back up in Plymouth again. So we had gotten engaged out in Oregon, and then moved back and got married in '01, and was doing that job. And through my husband Seth, his family was good friends with the Groomlingers.
Okay.
And
Don,
so, yeah,
yes.
Don, so our old CFO. So he had contacted me and said, hey, we think we have a position you might be interested in. So, you know, of course you come in, that was the good old days where you have Dick, Jim, Ann, Don interviewing
Kind
you.
of a full horseman basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can make it through that, you're good.
Founders and the management team, yeah.
Yeah, so interviewed with them, and, you know, Dick said, well, Stacey, I think we'd like to offer you a position here. And so I just weighed the pros and cons and said, okay. And so
Was that interview stressful with it? I mean, your first time in the bank?
yes, it was. And my old boss at the time too. So Deb Weisenberger, yeah, it was pretty intimidating. But yeah, so
Well, we're
that's
glad
it
you
started.
accepted the job and done a great job for our customers.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So I was started on the opposite end: foreclosures, bankruptcies, workouts, you know, kind of payment arrangements again. So that was, a lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't like that, but it was actually very rewarding, because our job is to keep people in their houses. So
Yes, we want to keep people in their homes. And
Right.
we figure out how to work something out.
exactly. So anything that we could do, and we did a ton of workouts. We did a ton of forbearances. There was a lot of times. There was some hard times during that 2002 to 2018, 19,
Right.
well, in 20, I got out. And that's when I moved to mortgage lending. So it was a great time for me to switch over. I just wanted to do something different. And January 1st, 2020, I switched over into mortgage lending, and wow, talk about a crash course.
Well, it seems like that would have been beneficial, because you would have seen kind of what's happened to people with struggles and job changes and credit things, but also it helps you become a better loan originator to
Oh,
help counsel
absolutely.
customers into doing what's best for them.
Absolutely. I think that is what sets me apart, is because people come in and they say, well, we want to see how much we can be approved for. And I said, well, let's back up. Like, how much of a payment are you going to feel comfortable with? And that's going to really determine your purchase price, or because we're only going off your credit debt, and you may like to eat out every day.
Saving for college or saving for
Right.
vacation, yeah. that's
Right, and we're going off your gross income. So it's first-time home buyers are my absolute favorite, because they're so green. They just have no idea. So you're really counseling them, and I feel kind of like, most of them are younger. You know, you just feel like a little mother figure to them, and they are just so elated and thankful when you go through and you take that time to go over those things.
I know from my experience, I've been in banking forever, that the bank can really be an intimidating place, because
Yes.
you're asking all their private confidential information
Mm-hmm.
about income and debt and things like that, so
Yeah, even on the back side, even on the workout and foreclosure side, people are, getting embarrassed about that, but we tell them we're there to help you.
So that's great, finding your niche for first-time home buyers. There's a great need for that,
Yes.
and we do that very well at
Yes.
First Federal Savings Bank.
And I've actually, so Elena, our HR manager, she was one of my customers.
Really?
So when that position opened up, I let her know about that. Julie Anderson, who's in asset recovery, which I used to manage, she and I started the same day at Sprint.
Okay.
So I reached out to her when we needed another person.
I did
So
hear
we-
the Elena story at the Christmas party on Saturday, so I was
Oh,
talking
did
to
you?
her husband
Okay.
and saying, like, how
Yes.
you were kind of the referral source for bringing Elena into the bank.
Yes, we met at McDonald's and signed their paperwork there.
Well, that's what's great about First Federal Savings Bank, is there's a lot of those connections like that. We're friends and family in the community, and that's kind of led to our success, basically.
Right.
Our first-time home buyer program, this is where I'm going to throw you the curve. What are a couple of tips for first-time home buyers? How do they get prepared? What do they need to collect for information?
First time home buyers, I would say the biggest thing is to know a payment that you're comfortable with. Come in, get pre-approved, figure out the process. We want you to really kind of be at your job for a year if you're not salaried, so that way we can show a good stable
Consistent.
income. A lot of the things that I see, which I'm doing with my kids right now, is a lot of young kids don't have any credit.
Financial counseling.
Right. So getting them started early by adding them onto one of your credit cards, if you have a good payment history, just adding them as an authorized user, that helps give them a score. And then that's what I did with my son Caleb. He's 19, and we knew that he wouldn't need to use it, but that gives him a score. And then he's at Ball State now, and he got his own Discover card in his own name now. So
That's a
then
great
that'll
tip.
start with him. Yeah.
I experienced that in my family. My son, like when he graduated from college, went to get an apartment, and he couldn't because he had no
Right.
credit.
Right.
That's good.
Or if you have an installment loan, if you get a car loan for them and you put them on that, once that's paid off though, then that stops reporting. So after a year, then you go back to a 0 credit score. I've seen that happen too.
So managing a credit card is a great.
Having a
Way to
credit
build
card
credit.
is, yes, better. Just making sure you're utilizing less than 20% of the the limit, and making sure you're making your payments on time.
Now, our first-time homebuyer program, a lot of people think you need a lot of money down to buy a home. But we have
No.
first-time homebuyer programs, so that's not necessarily true, right?
We have so many different programs. That's another great thing is people will come in and they'll say, well, I want an FHA or a USDA loan because it's like no closing cost or low money down. When we back up into that and say, well, let's just get you pre-approved, and then once you find a house, we've got several loan programs that can help, but 3% down is actually for a first-time homebuyer. Really, a first-time homebuyer is simply somebody who hasn't had a house in their name in the past 3 years. So you could be my age and maybe have sold your house, not found something,
But not had a mortgage loan
not
for
had
free.
not had a house in your name for 3 years, and you're considered a first-time homebuyer again.
That's
So-
good to know, because
Wow.
a lot of people maybe have paid off a house during the years, and now maybe there's a new need to maybe set up their retirement or do an addition or something like that, so they can still take advantage of first-time homebuyer program.
Well, if the deed is not in their name, yes.
Okay.
So if it's paid off, it's still in their
Okay.
name. But if they sold it and couldn't find something and rented or lived with somebody for 3 years, then they would be considered first-time homebuyer again. And that's really the difference: 3% versus 5% down. And again, we have some other programs that are great, and that's what I love is people will come in and, like I said, they'll think that they want a certain loan type, and then you go over some different options that are better for them.
That's really what you do as a mortgage loan originator. The customer has a need, you help them identify that need
Correct.
and kind of direct them, here are some options for you, because a lot of times they come with kind of a preconceived thought that
Correct.
I want this, but you have great knowledge of the industry and our programs and try to find the right fit for that customer.
Right. Let them make the decision what's most important to them. Yes.
So we're talking with Stacey Wilson, longtime First Federal Savings Bank employee, mortgage loan originator. What do you find most rewarding about your career, or maybe your current role as a mortgage loan originator?
Oh, again, just working with the customers, it's so rewarding. I've become friends with a lot of them. I see some of them at sporting events for my daughter, and that's fun to go to different communities and see one of my customers, and I have their number in my phone and saved, and texting them and saying hey, or like Elena bringing her into the family with us, and just that, being able to help somebody own a home and that they didn't think that they could or didn't know how to do it, or refinancing someone who's kind of gotten themselves maybe into some debt, and it's just, I did have one of those where they were just drowning in debt and this would just free up so much money for them monthly because they were getting older and wanted to retire. So just helping relieve some stress for them, or giving them the opportunity to afford a house. And now that I've been doing it for a while, it's fun to see some of my repeat customers come back and buy a different house or refinance. So that's been really fun too.
Well, that's great. We've been talking with Stacey Wilson, mortgage loan originator at First Federal Savings Bank. how would one get a hold of you if they want to talk to you and learn more about how you may help them out?
Well, they can call the bank, call the 800 number, or just call the 223, what is it, 2128? Does anyone even use that one anymore? Or what is it, 800?
I don't know.
I don't know the 800 one.
I don't know, 432, I don't know. Or you can call direct, 223-1782, my cell phone, 574-847-9556. Pretty much any way.
And you're willing to help people out, meet with them
Yeah.
all hours of the day.
Yes.
You know, so that's good because with work schedules anymore, you kind of have a flexible schedule, so you can meet with them after
Right.
dinner if you need to.
Yeah, and the great thing about our bank is we can retain the servicing, so you'll always talk with us, you'll always make your payment with us, and I think that is a great service. We try to make sure that, you can always call one area and talk with us and get an answer.
Well, thank you, Stacey. Thank
Thank
you for all you do for the bank, our community, and our customers. It's recognized and appreciated.
Last thing I should say, since it's the last show of the year, anyone that bought a house this year needs to make sure that their homestead exemption is filed. May not be a bad idea to make sure they still have their homestead
That's a
exemption.
great tip.
Because I think I've heard one customer at least say that somehow their homestead exemption was taken off. And
So how do they do that?
call your county auditor's office or
Okay.
look it up online, but just to be safe, call your county auditor and just verify that your homestead exemption's on there.
That's a great tip to close out the show. We're going to get back to the Mariah Carey song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. What year was it released? 1990, 1992, 94, or 96? This should be both your wheelhouses.
I'm going 94.
I know,
94.
at first I was gonna say 96, but I think I'm just gonna stick with 96. Go with your first instinct,
Sure you
right?
don't want to go with Randy?
No, I'll let Randy be right. I put it in
Randy is right.
Okay, good.
1994.
Finally, I get one right.
Good
Yeah.
job, Randy.
But you were close, 1996. I would have had no idea.
Yeah.
Here's another little tidbit. Randy used to bring me Carmelos every
Basketball.
day?
I have basketball time.
Yeah, when
Every basketball
he
game.
was a year older than me in school, he would bring me a Carmelo candy bar.
Basketball season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
As long as she played well.
Okay.
I mean, there was rules,
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't probably get them very often. That's what he's saying.
Well, we'll close with some words of wisdom. I've changed Tanner's words of wisdom to
Sorry.
something else. This is a great quote. You probably know this, and you can help finish it too if you want. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. You know what that's from?
Yeah, the Grinch.
Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the
Oh,
Elf.
buddy, no.
It
Yeah,
was
that's
Buddy the
right.
Elf Day just
That's
earlier
right.
this week.
He also said something too that there's room for everyone on the nice list.
There's time, Randy.
Yes, there's still time. There's still time.
So thank you everyone for a great
Thank you.
year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Go Hoosiers.